The stars were quiet. The black sea of space stretched without end. And in that endless silence, a small human ship drifted slowly. It was an old exploration vessel, built not for war, but for search. Its single pilot, Ethan Cole, sat inside the cockpit, staring at the radar screen. For weeks he had been alone, scanning empty regions. Most of the time, he found nothing. Just dead rocks, cold dust, and empty signals. But tonight, something was different. His radar showed a strange object floating far ahead. At first, he thought it was only debris, a piece of metal lost from some forgotten war. But the shape was too perfect. It was a sphere, glowing faintly, like crystal catching hidden light. Ethan leaned closer, his eyes wide. He whispered to himself, "What are you doing here?" The ship's AI, a calm female voice, spoke. "Unidentified object detected. Age unknown. Material unknown. Caution advised." Ethan smirked. "Yeah, I got that." He felt his heart beat faster. Something about the object called to him. Not just curiosity, but something deeper. Like a voice he could not hear, but could feel. A pull. A whisper without sound. He shook his head, trying to ignore it. But the feeling grew stronger as he moved closer. The sphere floated untouched by time. Its surface was smooth, glass-like. Yet he could see faint cracks running across it. It looked ancient, older than anything humans had ever built. Ethan had studied ruins before. He had seen forgotten colonies. But this was different. This was alive. He could feel it. Not with his hands, but with his mind. A presence. Watching him. Waiting for him. The AI warned again. "Pilot Cole, this object may be dangerous. Recommend maintaining distance." But Ethan ignored it. His hands moved to the controls, guiding the ship closer. Lights from the cockpit shone across the sphere. The glow inside shimmered in response. Almost like it recognized him. Almost like it was waking up. Ethan swallowed. "Hello. Can you hear me?" he whispered. And then, for the first time, something answered. Not through speakers, not through air, but directly in his mind. A soft voice, gentle yet tired. "Yes, I hear you." Ethan froze. His breath caught in his chest. He looked around the cockpit, but he was still alone. The voice came again, stronger. "You found me, after so long." His hands shook on the controls. He wanted to ask 100 questions. Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? But only one word left his mouth. What? The voice was faint, like it came from a great distance. "Because you are human, and only a human could hear me." Ethan's eyes widened. He pressed his hand against the glass, staring at the sphere. "Who are you?" he asked. But the voice faded away. Only silence remained. The AI broke the moment. "Pilot Cole, energy readings rising, danger level increasing." Ethan's mind raced. Something was inside, something alive, something trapped. He could feel its loneliness. He could feel its pain. It had been waiting, not for years, but for centuries. And now it was reaching out to him. He whispered again, "What are you?" And slowly, faint words brushed his thoughts. "Not what, who? My name is Serena. I have been here for 1,000 years." The words shook him. 1,000 years. Impossible. But her voice carried truth. It was not a machine, not an echo. It was someone alive, and someone desperate. Ethan pulled the ship even closer. He knew he was breaking protocol. He knew the AI would report him if it could. But he could not leave. Not now. Not after hearing her voice. His eyes locked on the glowing sphere. Inside the cracks, he thought he saw movement, a shadow of a figure, pressing against the glass from within. Serena's voice whispered again, weaker this time. "Please do not leave me. I have waited for you. Set me free before it is too late." The cockpit fell silent. Ethan's breath was heavy. He stared at the sphere, caught between fear and wonder. If she was telling the truth, then he had found something beyond imagination, a secret older than his species. But if she was lying, he might be about to unleash something far worse. The AI repeated its cold warning. "Pilot Cole, final warning, retreat immediately." But Ethan did not retreat. He leaned forward, his voice steady. "What happened to you?" The answer was slow, heavy with sorrow. I was betrayed. I was locked away, and I was left to rot in silence. Until you came. The glow inside the sphere flared brighter. His ship shook as if touched by unseen hands. And Ethan knew, without a doubt, his life had just changed forever. The stars were quiet. But now, something ancient had begun to wake. The prisoner's whisper. The sphere drifted in the dark like a ghost. Its cracks glowed faintly, breathing with hidden life. Ethan's ship hovered close, engines humming softly. Inside the cockpit, silence pressed on his chest, heavier than the void outside. The voice returned, faint, fragile, yet clear in his mind. "Human, do you hear me still?" Ethan swallowed hard, gripping the controls tighter. "Yes, I hear you," he whispered. The AI responded immediately. No external sound detected. Pilot is experiencing possible hallucination. Ethan ignored it. He knew what he had heard. He knew he was not alone. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice low. The answer came slowly, like words carried across centuries. "I am Serenia, last daughter of the Elith, prisoner of this crystal tomb." The name carried weight, as if it belonged to something greater than stars. Her tone was not only sorrow, but also pride. She had not been broken, even after 1,000 years. Ethan leaned closer to the glass, staring at the glowing cracks. He thought he saw movement again, a figure trapped behind the layers of crystal. The shadow of long hair drifting like smoke. The outline of eyes that seemed to stare directly at him. Cold shivers raced down his spine. "You've been here for 1,000 years?" he whispered. "Yes," her voice replied, trembling with exhaustion. "1,000 years of silence, 1,000 years of darkness. I have called, but only you answered." Ethan's heart raced. "Why him? Why now?" The AI interrupted with its cold logic. "Pilot Cole, biological readings are unstable. This object may be hostile. Retreat recommended." But Ethan shook his head, his eyes fixed on the sphere. There was no hostility in her voice. Only desperation. Only loneliness. "Why were you trapped?" he asked. Her voice broke, trembling like shattered glass. "Because I refused to serve. Because I chose mercy when others chose war. My enemies feared me, so they caged me and left me to die in silence." Ethan felt the weight of her words press against him. Her pain was heavy, her sorrow endless. Yet beneath it all there was strength, a fire that had not been extinguished. He could feel it burning through the cracks of her prison. "You shouldn't trust her," the AI said coldly. "She may be manipulating you." But Ethan ignored it once again. His instinct screamed that this was not a lie. This was real. This was history breathing again. Suddenly, the sphere pulsed with light. A beam shot across space, disappearing into the void. Ethan shielded his eyes. "What was that?" he gasped. Her voice answered quickly, filled with fear. "They will know now. They will feel that I am awake. They will come." Ethan frowned. "Who will come?" But she did not answer. Instead, her voice softened again. "Please, human, do not leave me. I have waited for one who would listen, one who would dare. Set me free, and I will help you face what is coming." Her words wrapped around him, pulling him deeper into her story. Set her free. Those words echoed inside his chest. But what would it mean? What would it release into his world? Ethan hesitated, torn between fear and duty. "Why me?" he whispered at last. Her answer came slow, almost like a secret. "Because only humans can break this lock. Your kind was chosen long ago. It was written in the stars before you were born." Ethan's breath caught. How could she know humans? How could she know him? Questions burned inside his head, but her voice was fading again, like a candle dying in the wind. "Hurry, Ethan. The prison weakens. But if you wait too long, they will come, and they will destroy you as they destroyed me." The cockpit fell silent again. Only the hum of his ship filled the void. His hands trembled over the console. He had found something impossible, a living being from another time, but also a warning of something darker, something hungry, something waiting. The sphere pulsed once more. Inside the cracks, her shadow pressed against the surface. And for a single heartbeat, Ethan saw her face, eyes that glowed like burning stars, eyes filled with sorrow and fury, eyes locked on him. And he knew this was not a dream. This was real. He whispered softly, almost against his own will, "I'll come back for you." The voice in his mind replied, weak but certain, "I will be waiting." As the ship drifted in the dark, Ethan could not shake the feeling that the universe had just shifted, that the silence of 1,000 years was about to end, and nothing would ever be the same again. The forbidden choice. The sphere hung in silence, glowing faintly in the void. Ethan's ship circled slowly, its engines low, like a predator watching prey. Inside the cockpit, Ethan's heart raced. The whisper of Serenia still echoed in his mind, soft, desperate, unshakable. She had asked him to set her free, but the command voice of his training rang loud inside him. Never touch what you do not understand. Never break what is locked. And yet, here she was, pleading through the cracks of her prison. 1,000 years of silence pressing into every word. The AI broke the quiet with a cold tone. "Pilot Cole, recommendation. Retreat at once. Object contains unstable energy, unknown threat level. Any interference may endanger human space." Ethan's hands tightened on the console. "Endanger human space," he repeated under his breath. That was always the excuse. But this felt different. This felt personal. Serenia's voice slipped into his mind again, softer now. "Ethan, they will come soon. If I remain here, they will find me. If you leave me, they will destroy me. But if you free me, I can fight them, and I can help your people too." The choice wrapped around his chest like a chain. Trust her, and he might be unleashing something dangerous. Leave her, and he might be dooming not just her, but humanity itself. The silence between them burned, and then Ethan whispered, "Were you really?" For a long moment she did not answer. The sphere pulsed once, and then her voice filled his head again, heavy with sorrow. "I am Elith, a guardian once. My kind fought to protect, but they feared me because I refused their cruelty. I chose mercy when they chose destruction. So they bound me. They feared what I could become." Ethan stared at the sphere. Through the cracks he saw faint flashes. A figure kneeling inside, chains of light wrapped around her. Her head bowed, but her eyes glowed with fire. The image was so clear, so real, he almost reached out, almost touched the glass that separated them. "Pilot Cole," the AI interrupted, "your behavior is irrational. You're showing signs of mental influence. I must remind you, your orders are to observe, not engage." Ethan slammed a fist on the console. "I don't care about orders," he growled. His voice shook. He was not even sure who he was talking to, the AI or himself. But the truth was clear. This was no hallucination. This was no ghost. She was real, and she was begging him. Serenia's voice dropped to a whisper again. "Please, Ethan, you are human. That means you can choose. You're not bound like machines. You're not chained by fear. Choose me, and you choose life." The word echoed. Choose. Humans had always been defined by choices. And now, alone in the cold dark, Ethan's choice would matter more than any other. He moved his hand toward the controls that could activate the ship's plasma cutters. If he aimed them right, they might break through the crystal layers. He hesitated, sweat running down his forehead. The AI screamed in warning. "Danger! Danger! Tampering with the object may release hostile entities. Immediate retreat is advised." But Ethan's heart pulled him forward. Every instinct told him the AI was wrong. Every instinct told him this was destiny. He hovered his finger over the command switch. The glow from the sphere pulsed brighter. And for a moment, he thought he heard her voice not in his mind, but in the ship itself, whispering through the walls, breathing through the air. "I will not harm you, Ethan. I only ask for freedom. Let me prove it." His breath shook. What if this was the biggest mistake of his life? What if she was lying? What if the stories about monsters in the dark were true? But another thought rose, stronger. What if she was telling the truth? What if this was humanity's one chance to survive something greater than them? He pressed the switch. The plasma cutters charged, their blue light burning in the darkness. The beam shot out, striking the crystal prison. The sphere screamed, not with sound but with vibration. The whole ship shook as if the universe itself resisted. Cracks spread wider across the surface, glowing like molten veins. Ethan's eyes widened. He could hear her voice, stronger now, filled with both pain and hope. Yes, Ethan, yes, you're almost there. One more strike. Free me. The AI cried out in panic. Pilot Cole, stop immediately. Unknown forces are activating. Catastrophic event predicted. But Ethan ignored it. His hand steady. His choice already made. The second beam struck. The sphere flared with light brighter than a star. The cockpit went white. And for a heartbeat, Ethan thought he had destroyed everything. But then, through the blaze, a shape began to rise. A figure standing tall inside the crystal, chains breaking one by one. Her eyes opened, glowing like fire against the void. Her voice thundered inside his mind, no longer weak but powerful. At last, she said, at last I am free. Ethan's body shook. Fear and awe mixed inside him. He had done it. He had broken the lock. And now, nothing would ever be the same again. The awakening. The sphere cracked open like a dying star. Light poured into the void, white and blinding. Ethan shielded his eyes, heart hammering inside his chest. The ship trembled under the force, warning alarms flashing red across the console. Chains of light snapped one by one. Each break echoed like thunder inside his head. The figure within the crystal straightened. Her shadow grew taller, clearer, until the prison no longer held her form. Ethan whispered under his breath. It's her. His voice was shaking. For 1,000 years she had been hidden. For 1,000 years she had been silent. And now she was waking before his eyes. The cracks burst apart with one final surge. Shards of glowing crystal scattered across space like falling stars. From his center rose Serena. Her body tall, graceful, surrounded by an aura of silver light. Her eyes burned with fire, but her face was calm, almost sorrowful. She did not look like a monster. She looked like something older than fear itself. Ethan's breath caught. He wanted to step back, though he was still locked in the cockpit. Every part of him screamed danger. And yet, every part of him also whispered wonder. The ship's AI spoke with sharp panic. Unknown entity detected. Immediate retreat required. Pilot survival at risk. But Ethan did not move. He was frozen, watching. His hands clenched on the controls, but his mind was somewhere else. Drawn into her presence, pulled deeper into her gaze. Serena floated in the void, her feet never touching anything. Her chains dissolved into dust that vanished among the stars. Her voice echoed, not in sound, but directly through Ethan's mind. You broke the silence. You broke the chain. You set me free. Her words carried both gratitude and warning. The kind of voice that could bless or curse. Ethan licked his lips nervously. You're free now, he whispered, but his own voice sounded small, fragile against the weight of her existence. Serena tilted her head, her silver hair drifting around her face like strands of light. Do you understand what you have done, Ethan? She asked. He shook his head slowly. I don't, not yet. Her gaze pierced through him. You have woken me, but you have also woken them. Before Ethan could answer, the sphere's broken fragments flared with strange symbols. Ancient marks burned across the void, fading into invisible trails. It was like a signal, a beacon, carrying across distances no human ship could travel. Ethan felt his stomach drop. He remembered her warning. They will come, she had said, and now he believed it. Serena's voice softened. I thank you, human, but the enemies who caged me will not rest. They will follow the scent of my freedom, and they will find your world too. Ethan's chest tightened. You mean Earth? He asked. Her eyes glowed brighter. Yes, your Earth, your people. They are already too close to their reach. The AI spoke again. Pilot Cole, you are compromised. The entity is hostile to human security. I must take control of navigation. The ship jolted as the autopilot engaged, engines powering up. Ethan slammed his hand against the override switch. No, he shouted. He looked at Serena. Her expression was unreadable. Half kindness, half shadow, like she was still deciding if he was ally or pawn. Why me? Ethan asked. His voice cracked. Of all the billions of humans, why him? Why had she called to him? Serena floated closer, her glow filling the cockpit with ghostly light. Because you listened. Because you chose, she answered. No machine would have dared. No soldier would have cared. But you chose me. Her hand lifted, and the air shimmered. The alarms in the cockpit fell silent. The AI's voice stuttered, then stopped. It was as if she had reached into the ship's systems and silenced them with a thought. Ethan's mouth went dry. She was powerful, too powerful, and yet she had not destroyed him. Not yet. Her eyes softened for a moment. You fear me, but do not. I do not wish for your death, Ethan. Then her tone sharpened. But know this. Freedom is never free. Your choice will cost you, and it will cost your people. Ethan's heart pounded. Was she savior or destroyer? Had he saved a guardian, or had he unleashed a storm? Serena stretched her arms wide, and her aura pulsed brighter. The void around her shook with invisible waves. Her chains were gone, her prison broken, her power rising. Ethan whispered, "My God," and Serena's glowing eyes fixed on him. No, Ethan, not your God. Something far older. The cockpit filled with white light. Ethan covered his face, but even through closed eyes he saw her, standing like a flame that could not be put out. And in that moment, he knew one truth. The universe would never again be the same. Enemies awakened. The broken prison drifted in silence, glowing faintly like dying embers. But silence in the universe never lasted. Far beyond Ethan's ship, across the black ocean of space, something stirred. On the edge of a forgotten star system, a ripple spread across the void. Invisible to human eyes, but strong enough for old hunters to feel. Ships hidden for centuries began to wake. Dark holes shaped like blades, engines pulsing with red fire. Their masters had been waiting, patient, cruel. Now the signal had reached them. The prisoner was free. Ethan sat frozen in his cockpit, still staring at Serena. Her silver glow lit the cabin, soft but unsettling. He could still hear her voice in his mind, steady but urgent. They have felt it, Ethan. They are coming. He shook his head. Who are they? What do they want? Serena's gaze darkened. They are the Veer, the ones who bound me, the ones who fear mercy. They will not stop until I am in chains again, or until I am gone. The AI's systems flickered weakly, struggling under her unseen control. Yet its voice returned with static. Multiple signals detected. Foreign ships approaching human border space. Ethan's blood ran cold. Already they were moving. Serena's voice was calm, too calm. They will come with fire, and they will not only come for me. They will come for you, for your Earth, for everything you love. Her words twisted inside him like knives. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to believe humanity was safe. But deep down he knew, if something like her existed, then something like them existed too. Far across the void, the enemy ships gathered. Their captain spoke in guttural tones. The seal is broken. The Elith rises again. She must not be allowed to live. Their fleets turned like wolves catching scent, and they began to move toward human stars. Ethan pressed his hands against the glass. Why me? Why did I hear you and not someone else? Serena floated closer, her eyes glowing. Because your kind was always chosen. Because only humans can decide. Others obey, others follow, but humans choose. And you chose me. Her words carried both comfort and weight. Ethan's chest tightened. He had chosen. But what had he brought upon his people? The AI's alarm screamed again. Hostile fleet mass detected. Numbers unknown. Probability of human survival low. Ethan's heart pounded. He looked at Serena. Can you stop them? He asked. Her face was unreadable. Yes, she said softly, but not without cost. The cockpit dimmed as her aura pulsed brighter. Her presence filled the ship, bending the air itself. Ethan could feel the heat of her power, like a storm waiting to break. But he also felt something else, a shadow behind her strength, a darkness left from 1,000 years of pain. She was powerful, but fragile, and if she fell, humanity might fall with her. In the far reaches of space, the Veer ships jumped into faster currents. Their weapons charged, their hunters awake. A message spread across their fleet. The human has broken the seal. Then the human must burn. Back in the cockpit, Ethan leaned forward. You said you would help us. You said if I freed you, you would fight them. Serenia's eyes softened. And I will. But understand, Ethan, my freedom is also their war. When they come, you will not be ready. Ethan clenched his fists. His people were explorers, traders, settlers, not warriors. Against ships that had hunted for millennia, humanity was nothing. Unless Serenia truly stood with them. Her voice whispered in his mind again. Your commanders will not trust me. They will fear me. They will try to bind me again. But you must decide, Ethan. Do you trust me? Or do you trust them? Ethan's breath shook. He looked out the window at the endless black sea, and somewhere out there, hunters were already coming. The forbidden choice he had made was no longer just his own. It was about to become humanity's burden. Serenia's glow flickered, as if her strength was still returning. She closed her eyes and whispered, They will arrive soon. Prepare yourself. Your people's test has already begun. The ship's radar screamed with new signals. Ethan's eyes widened. The first shadows were already appearing. Small at first, but growing. Black ships sliding from the void like knives drawn from sheaths. And Ethan realized with dread. The War of 1,000 Years was no longer ancient history. It was here, and it had found him. The battle for trust. The first Veer ships cut through the dark like knives. Their hulls blacker than space. Their weapons glowing red with hunger. Ethan's radar screamed with warnings. Numbers climbing too fast. A dozen ships, then 20, then more. A swarm rising from the void. Serenia's silver aura flickered, her eyes narrowing as she watched them approach. They have come faster than I thought, she whispered into Ethan's mind. They will not stop now. Ethan gripped the controls. His hands shook, but his voice was steady. You said you could fight them. Then do it. But before she could answer, another voice broke into the cockpit. Not in his head, but through the comms. Pilot Cole, this is Commander Reyes of the Vanguard. You are ordered to stand down at once. Ethan froze. Human ships had arrived. 3 cruisers appeared on his radar, heavy and sharp, bristling with weapons. Their presence should have brought relief. But instead, tension thickened. The commander's voice was sharp and cold. Cole, you have broken protocol. You released an unknown entity. And now hostile fleets are converging on our borders. Explain yourself immediately. Ethan swallowed hard. How could he explain Serenia in simple words? How could he explain the voice, the prison, the 1,000 years? He opened his mouth, but Serenia's voice filled his mind, calm but firm. Do not trust them, Ethan. They will see me as a weapon, or a threat, not as an ally. The Vanguard cruisers moved into formation, weapons primed. Their targeting systems locked not only on the Veer ships, but also on Serenia. Her body floated in silver light, and to human eyes she looked like danger itself, a being that should not exist. Commander Reyes spoke again. Unknown entity, this is human territory. Stand down, or we will open fire. Her words carried no mercy, only fear. Ethan shouted into the comms. Wait, she's not the enemy. She's the only one who can fight them. But Reyes cut him off. She is the reason they are here. If we destroy her, maybe they will retreat. Ethan's blood turned cold. Destroy her? After all she had endured, after all she had warned him, could his own people really be so blind? The Veer ships opened fire, red beams slicing through the void. Explosions ripped against the human shields, shaking the Vanguard. Ethan's ship rocked as shockwaves struck, alarms flashing. The war had begun. Serena's aura pulsed, her eyes glowing like fire. She raised her hands, and silver light erupted from her body. The energy spread like wings, forming a shield around the human ships. The red beams hit the silver barrier, bending, shattering into sparks. For a moment, the human cruisers were saved. For a moment, Serena stood as their shield. Ethan gasped. She's protecting us. But Commander Reyes was not convinced. I see a monster playing tricks, Reyes snapped. We cannot trust her. Serena's voice filled Ethan's head, heavier now. This is what I warned you. They will fear me more than they fear the Veer. Even as I protect them, they will want me in chains. Her silver shield strained under the endless fire, cracks of light rippling through her aura. Still she held, refusing to let the humans fall. Ethan shouted again into the comms. She's holding the line. Without her, we're finished. But Reyes ignored him. Cole, listen carefully. Move your ship away from the entity. We are preparing to fire. Ethan's stomach dropped. They were going to attack Serena, even while she was saving them. The Veer ships pressed closer. More beams, more fire, the void blazing red. Serena cried out, her voice echoing inside Ethan's head. Pain, but also defiance. I will not break again. She pushed her hands forward, and her silver light burst outward like a storm. The nearest Veer ships were caught in the wave. Their hulls cracked, their weapons burned. One by one, they exploded, swallowed by the flare of her power. The human cruisers went silent on comms. For a moment, even Reyes had no words. They had just watched a single being wipe out ships that should have been unstoppable. Ethan stared at Serena, awe and fear twisting inside him. She was no illusion, no trick. She was power beyond measure. Finally, Reyes spoke again, voice colder than ever. Cole, you will stand down. The entity is too dangerous. She cannot be allowed to roam free. Ethan slammed his fist against the console. Are you blind? She just saved us. Reyes did not answer. But on the radar, Ethan saw the truth. The human cruisers were moving into attack position. Against her, Serena's silver eyes dimmed, sorrow flickering in her gaze. They will never trust me, Ethan, even if I bleed for them, even if I burn for them. They will always see me as a threat. Ethan's chest tightened. She was right, and now he stood between two fires. His own people on one side, her on the other, and the Veer still closing in. The battle was not just against the enemy. It was a battle for trust. And Ethan knew one wrong choice could doom them all. The final choice. The void burned with fire. Wreckage drifted in silence, glowing from the last clash. Human cruisers hung scarred and shaking, their shields cracked. Veer ships regrouped, more of them sliding from the dark, endless in number. And in the center floated Serena, her silver light flickering like a dying star. Ethan's hands shook on the controls. His comms filled with Commander Reyes's cold voice. Cole, this ends now. The entity is too dangerous. We will destroy her, and the Veer will follow. Her words cut sharp, but Ethan knew they were a lie. The Veer would never stop. They wanted Serena gone, but they wanted humanity gone too. Serena's voice echoed inside his mind, weak but steady. Ethan, I can end this. I can burn them all. But if I do, I will not survive. My power will be gone, and I will fade. His chest tightened. He looked at her, glowing, fragile, yet unbroken. A being who had suffered chains for 1,000 years. And now she was offering to die to protect people who feared her. The human cruisers moved closer, weapons charging. On the radar, their targeting lines locked onto Serena. Ethan's stomach twisted. His people were preparing to kill their own savior. He shouted into the comms. Stop, don't do this. She's the only reason we're alive. But Reyes's voice came back colder. You are compromised, Cole. The entity must be destroyed. That is our final order. Serena drifted closer to Ethan's ship, her silver eyes dim but gentle. They will never trust me, Ethan. Not now, not ever. But you trusted me. And That was enough. Her words pierced him deeper than any blade. His heart screamed for him to act, but his mind trembled with fear. The Vare fleet expanded in the distance. Dozens of ships, then hundreds. The void filled with their red glow. If Serenia unleashed herself, maybe they could be destroyed. But at what cost? If she burned away, she would be gone forever. And if he let the humans kill her, then all hope was gone. The AI flickered back to life, its voice broken and weak. Pilot Cole, obey orders. Stand clear. Prepare for termination strike. Ethan slammed his fist on the console. No, he growled. His voice trembled, but his decision burned inside him. He would not let them kill her. Not after everything. Not after she had chosen to protect them. Serenia raised her arms, her body glowing brighter. The void shook as her power grew. Her voice echoed, strong but sorrowful. This is the end, Ethan. I will give my life so yours may continue. Ethan shouted, desperate. There has to be another way. But her eyes closed, and a tear of silver drifted into the void. There is no other way. The Vare ships fired, red beams streaking across space. The human cruisers powered their cannons, ready to strike her too. Ethan's breath caught. He had only seconds, only one choice left. He pulled his ship forward, placing it directly between Serenia and the human cruisers. His voice roared through the comms. If you fire, you'll hit me first. Static filled the channel, shock spreading through the human fleet. Commander Reyes's voice cracked with anger. Cole, you're betraying your people. No, Ethan's Chowteeth. I'm saving them. She's saving us all. For the first time, silence filled the comms. Even Reyes had no words. All eyes turned to Serenia. Her glow rose higher, brighter, burning like a second sun. The Vare beams struck her shield and shattered. Her voice filled Ethan's mind one last time. You chose. You gave me hope. Now I will give you time. She spread her arms wide. Her silver aura expanded into a storm. Waves of light crashed outward, swallowing the Vare fleet. Ships cracked, burned, and vanished in a blaze. Their screams faded into silence. The void itself shook. Stars dimmed and brightened as the storm spread. Ethan covered his eyes. His ship rattled as if caught inside the heart of a sun. And then silence. When he opened his eyes again, the Vare fleet was gone. Only dust and broken fire drifted in the dark. But Serenia was gone too. Her silver light had vanished. Her voice was silent. The space where she had floated was empty. Ethan's chest ached, as if something had been torn from him. She had saved them, but at the cost of herself. The comms crackled again, Commander Reyes speaking softly now. The enemy is destroyed, but so is the entity. Her tone carried no triumph, only unease. Ethan stared into the void, his voice breaking. She's not gone, not forever. Somewhere deep in the stars, he believed her essence still lingered, waiting, watching, and maybe one day she would return. Until then, Ethan carried her memory and the weight of his choice. The universe was safe, but nothing would ever be the same.